Welcome, everybody, to Why Do You Want to Be an Entrepreneur, or Why Are You One? And tonight, I have a rock star entrepreneur, just like I bring you every week, but this one is super, super special. I'm Maureen Edwards. I'm the founder of 8 Simple Steps, and we meet every Thursday so that I can bring you people who are on the entrepreneurial journey, who are ready to share their story, provide some best practices, resources, tips, and inspiration for all of my small business owners and people who are just starting and building their business. And when I said rock star, oh my gosh, this one is like really a rock star. So I want to introduce you to the media website founder of Call Me Adam. This is Adam Rothenberg. And Adam, welcome tonight. This is so exciting for me because you are one of the biggest interviewers out there, celebrities, entrepreneurs, other podcasters, huge. So I want to welcome you, and I would really like to ask you the first question. Why are you an entrepreneur? Can you share your journey?
Yes. And I just want to say thank you for having me today, Maureen. I'm so excited to be here with you. You are a rock star interviewer yourself, as I have been watching several of your other episodes, and I see what a great job you do. So I'm just as excited to be here with you today.
Oh, well, thank you. That means a
You're
lot
welcome.
coming from you. And I was a little bit nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, let's see how this goes. But you are an amazing person. And you make it really easy. And so tell me about your journey. How have you gotten here?
Yeah. So I started out, I feel like most entrepreneurs, after college, I started out on your traditional corporate career path. I did a few different things till I really found my footing. Growing up, I always knew I wanted to be in entertainment, in the entertainment business. I didn't know what that would fully look like. And so I did a little bit of everything throughout college, and then post-college, I guess I started by trying my hand at stand-up comedy, and I did that for several years on the side of having a day job. And the stand-up comedy did not take off at all. So I always say, my joke is that I decided to sit down, and and
at least you realized it early enough, right?
Yes, early enough, as in like 7 years of trying it on a semi-regular basis. But I did eventually come to the realization that it was not the path for me. So at the time that I had stopped doing stand-up comedy, I had just started working at a Broadway ad agency as their office manager, because I love entertainment. I love theater. I live in New York. So Broadway was like, when I think of entertainment in New York, that's where you want to be. So I worked there for 13 years as their office manager. And it was a great experience. I mean, I learned a lot about the theater industry. I got to start my website at that job, from the people that I met there, and they helped me. I was able to talk to a lot of different people to get a lot of insight on how to launch it, and then I was able to start it. And I'm thrilled with how it's taken off. And then I took a sort of a leap of faith to just, after 13 years, there was like a change in management, and I decided that it was time for me to go. Like, it was, I didn't know what I was fully going to do. At that time, my podcast just became part at that time of the Broadway Podcast Network, which is very exciting. It still is part of the Broadway Podcast Network, which you can listen to it, on all the streaming platforms. And we were getting a lot of advertising for the podcast, for the network. And at that time, there was a lot of advertising lined up. And so I told myself, you know what, I'm going to, it's now or never. I'm going to take this chance. I really want my podcast to be something. So I'm going to leave my full-time job and, dedicate all my time to my podcast. And so this was 2019. This was November of 2019. And I gave my notice, and I left at the end of November. And, I was like, I'm going to live this life. And then a few months later, the global pandemic hit, and all of that advertising went away.
Yeah.
And I still had my podcast, but I didn't have that income I thought I was going to, be getting. So that was like my first roadblock. And, like everybody in the arts industry, once Broadway shut down, like, what do you do? Thankfully, the Broadway Podcast Network pivoted really well, and we were able to record our interviews remotely. So that is one reason, like today, I am sitting in my closet, in case anybody was wondering why I'm in here. And this is where I actually started recording my podcasts from in 2020, because in your closet, it's a confined space. There's a lot of like my clothes behind me, my carpet on the floor helps absorb all that sound. So it doesn't sound like I'm talking into a tin can. So I was able to continue to record my podcast during this, quarantine time, and we went remote. And then I took I got reconnected with a Broadway actor that I had interviewed years ago. He was starting like a group coaching to teach us how to create a course. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I had no idea what I could do. And through his workshop, I created a course that was going to teach people how to like podcast. And then once the world started to open up a little bit more, he was getting, work again. And so that workshop ended. And then I joined another program, and that's where we met. So
Yes.
I'm very grateful for that. And I developed a completely different course there. And it was a general course about how to about the interviewing process, about how to book a guest and how to conduct an interview. And then after about a year, and I'm going to be quite honest, at first I created the course within 5 months, and within my first 3 webinars, I was able to sell two courses. I had 2 students, and I was so excited. And one of them actually that I know of is definitely watching tonight. Tina, hi Tina, and it was great. We had a great time. They felt like they learned a lot. I learned a lot. And then after I did the course, I was not able to get anybody else enrolled. It just was something was just not landing with it.
Okay, so let's take one step back.
Okay.
Because what I'm realizing here is your story is very common. You've had to pivot. You've had to pivot in a lot of different ways and work yourself through the process of, my talent is this. I need to take this talent to the next level. But where is that exact need out there? And a lot of entrepreneurs kind of start that way and say, you know what? I want to do this. And you think you're going to go one way and pivot and realize you need to go another way. And it's smart that you do it fast enough, you know what I mean, to not lose that much time, and you have self-awareness with it and say, you know what, I still want to do this. I'm going to make it work. I just need to find the right thing. And it seems like you are on your way to finding the right thing, but there have been some challenges here. And starting out, what have you found to be the greatest challenge in entrepreneurship?
I mean, for me, the greatest challenge is finding what works, what resonates with an audience to make people want to work with me. I've been doing interviewing for 12 years. I have conducted over 1,500 interviews on my website.
That's crazy.
So
I can't believe I'm interviewing you. So that's why I'm sitting back and I'm like, all right. Yeah, so it's the audience. It's focusing in on that target audience and what you can share with them and make a difference. in their life.
Yes. Yes. And you're right. It's been a lot of pivoting. And
Yeah.
now, when, it took me probably 6 months after I didn't have any sales for my full course to be like, something is not working. So I left the program that I was in, and I was like, what, I still wanted to do something with it because I liked the idea of it. I do feel like, after 12 years and 1,500 interviews, I do have information and value that I can offer people. So I actually got a part-time job that I was able to work from home. And then I got sort of connected deeper with another entrepreneur that I met in the group, in addition to meeting you. And I've started working for her part-time. And it was a great match because I was learning things from working with her that I have now been able to implement myself. So I'm working on, creating another workshop. And basically, instead of trying to offer the world, I'm going to offer one piece.
Yes.
And I'm going to focus on that first. So I'm working on developing that. It's the workshop is called The Power of a Pitch Letter, where I will show people how to construct and write a pitch letter that by the end of the workshop, you will walk away with a pitch letter that you'll be able to send out to people. And, it's nice to have a very concise focus and just work on that aspect of the whole process. So, if you attend the Power of a Pitch Letter workshop, we're only going to focus on the pitch letter. We're not going to focus on all the other aspects of the interview process.
This is so important, Adam, what you're telling people out there, because people, when they get excited about their business or their service and they're just out there, they want to tell the entire world. They want to serve the entire world. And I say, when you serve everybody, you serve nobody. And what you have realized is that you're really honing in on a niche and a real value of one thing, super clear, super concise, and people will walk away with something tangible that they can implement immediately. And so that's like the perfect business model that maybe it took you a little bit of time to figure it out. But for other entrepreneurs out there, this is a good lesson. Narrow it in, target, and be simple with what you offer. I mean, we call this 8 simple steps. And this is the reason why I created my company like that. But I truly believe that you narrowing that down gives you focus. And I think people are just going to walk away with something super valuable. I just love that. I love how your business has evolved and you've evolved. And I know you, we've known each other probably a year now. And I know that you just wouldn't give up. You have been working it and finding that avenue. And so, you know what? Another thing that I like, Adam, is that you did seek other people for advice and say, you know what, this is uncharted territory. Let me go with somebody who knows how to do this, who's done it before. So kudos to you for recognizing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, you were very inspirational to me because, like I said, we did meet in the program, and just watching your journey and watching how you were, you built your course, and then, you have your whole company now. It's like, we all look at the people to inspire us, and you were always that inspiration for me. So it's like, I look forward to getting to where you are. They always say, don't compare your step 1 to somebody's step 20. So, but I do look forward to the day where I get to where you are.
Well, what's interesting is that you're right. Everybody's journey is different. And the things that I did came from building 5 other companies prior. So let's call it what it is. I had a little bit on that side that I could pull from to maybe have a faster uptake, but it doesn't matter how people get there as long as they continue pushing and see the vision and work with a strategic plan. And that's what you're doing now. And seek people who have done it before you. I have to tell you, my first few courses, my story, they didn't go anywhere. I found the pricing was ridiculously low. Surprise, right? So we all learn things along this way. And, to see you grow as an entrepreneur has just been amazing. I love it.
Thank you. And, while I'm on this journey of getting to where I want to be in the entrepreneur life, like I mentioned, I did have a part-time job, and that, then I started working a second part-time job. So, I did have to do things to, make sure I'm earning an income as well while I'm trying to get this business launched. And I mean, one very exciting thing that came out of working with the entrepreneur that I do now is I was able to devise a plan that I was able to leave one part-time job and now just work for the entrepreneur. And because of things that she has taught there has allowed me to implement it into my own life. And I was able to, put a plan in place where within 98 days, I was able to leave my other part-time job and now just solely work for this entrepreneur and still work on building this new aspect of my business.
This is so cool because you had a plan, like you had a deadline, a date. You're like, and I don't call those jobs. Those jobs were side hustles. Your real job is your business. Your real job is as an entrepreneur. Those were just side hustles. So let's reverse this, right? And so I have to ask you, what do you think is the biggest difference from working for somebody else and now, working for yourself? Like, where do you see some of those differences?
I mean, quite honestly, the biggest difference is having the freedom with my schedule. I get assignments that I definitely have to do. Or not assignments, but tasks that I definitely have to do. There's things in her business that she needs to have done. The difference between like working, I say I'm working for myself, but I am working for somebody else. However, it's not your traditional corporate job. So I have the freedom in my schedule to sort of, what's the word I'm trying to look for? I have my own, I can create my own hours. So,
Right.
Outside of being on Clubhouse for our designated rooms, I basically have the freedom more or less to, work on my tasks whenever I want. I personally prefer to do it during the day so I can try to have my nights free, which has not worked out, but or I work on like my personal stuff at night. That to me is the biggest freedom, as opposed to in the corporate world, I was told, your schedule is 9 to 6:30. This is when you have to be there. There were plenty of times where like I had to work weekends, or, people would text me at night, I have this problem, I have that problem. I've since learned about setting, one of my friends that I have met through this community of entrepreneurs that I'm in, she talks about a boom gate, which is basically like a boundary that you put down. I've learned all about how to set boom gates and boundaries. And I have, started to institute that here and there. So, and I didn't really have that in the corporate world. And it wasn't really a culture that lent itself to really having those boundaries, especially maybe in like some of it may have been Broadway because it's sort of like, it's very fast paced moving. But then, I don't know any company that isn't like fast paced moving. I've never seen a job advertisement that said, we're slow paced,
Right. Work at your own, time and lollygag along, and that's fine. And I have to say, Tina just put a comment in. She's like, Adam is an amazing mentor. So that's always good to know that you're mentoring and, impacting other people. Love
thank
to
you,
hear
Tina.
that.
I love Tina, and I'm so grateful that we have met, and she has been such a great friend, and I adore her. So thank you, Tina.
And Donna just showed up. Hey, Donna, two favorite people having an awesome conversation. And you're right. Like I am listening and learning. I've known Adam. I've known certain parts of what's been going on, but here I'm like discovering the real backstory. And so what advice would you have for a new entrepreneur out there who took that risk? They took the leap. And, what would be your advice?
Just to keep going. I mean, it's not an easy path. It's definitely not a path for everybody. I think it takes a certain kind of personality, or a certain kind of I guess personality is the word I can think of right now, to keep like persevering. You have to have a lot of perseverance, and you have to be okay with failure, and you have to be okay with, trying, something's not working. You just have to be okay with taking like a real honest look at what is not working, and just be okay with, like, okay, this is not working as much as I love it or as much as I like it. This just is not going the way I want. And you just have to be okay with the pivoting. I feel like you have to be open to meeting new people, and certainly connecting with new people. And, then as you get to know them, you get to learn from them. And you may not realize you're learning something until you go to do something, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, this reminds me of, whoever you were just talking to.
Right.
And I was going to say, if you're thinking about it, I mean, even though it has, I have not had the monetary success that I envisioned. Especially when you hear the word entrepreneur, you think, oh my God, every entrepreneur is a millionaire,
No, no.
So even though I haven't had that monetary success, and I still feel like I made the right decision for myself to take this leap, because taking this leap, leaving my corporate job and the security of, what a corporate job gives you with, benefits, paid
Mhm.
vacation time, all of that, to go into this unknown world. It has enabled me just to take other leaps in my life that I don't know that I would have taken if I continued to stay at my corporate job.
You have a lot of courage, which is one of the, if you want to call it, personality traits that an entrepreneur has to have. And I really, I admire you, because you don't have an ego in entrepreneurship, because if you did, you'd keep doing the same thing that you want to do, that you're married to, that you love. But what you've realized is that it's not all about you. And that's why I say there is no ego allowed in entrepreneurship, because it's not about you. It's not about your service. It's not about your course. It's not about anything other than the person you serve, the customer that you make an impact with. And so, again, you're demonstrating to people out there that you're on this journey, but it's probably aligned very much with a lot of other people. And so the advice you're giving out there is really, really solid. So I hope there are some small business owners and new entrepreneurs out there who are listening to what Adam is saying, because he's dropping some real valuable points here. So,
Thank you.
so I would like to get some information about what makes you happy in your personal life. What do you do to get rid of the stress of entrepreneurship that sometimes happens?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, did I stump you? Oh my gosh.
I mean, I would say it used to be like going to a Broadway show, going to a cabaret show. I used to go to shows 3 or 4 times a week. But right when the pandemic happened, I moved in with my boyfriend. And so now, like, watching TV with him, is like so enjoyable. It's so relaxing. We go for walks every day after work. Okay, maybe not every single day, but I would say at least 4 to 5 times a week we go for a walk. And part of the reason I push on the walks too is probably because I work from home. And
Yeah.
so I don't really go out much in the middle, like during the day. It's not like I walk to the coffee shop to get a cup of coffee. I'll make it at home. So for me, it's going out, it's getting out of the house, but it's also being able to spend quality time with him. And, that's like our time together to talk about whatever we want to talk about. I also make sure that we always eat dinner together. So we're not doing I'm not eating while I'm working or something. So like having dinner together is something we're both very, we both value a lot. So we do that every night. And then I try to have, I try not to work on the weekends, although I know that hasn't really worked out right now.
Not in entrepreneurship,
no.
not when you're first starting. I'm going to just tell you, it's all the time, you know? So the fact that you're carving out like quality time with family members and, you know, and even for yourself, I mean, that's a big thing. I have to tell you, I'm not really good at it. I should be like walking every day too, and I don't. And I've got to get better at it because it can clear your mind. So, confession out there, not my strong suit. I kind of have like going in one thing, right? And so I need to get more balance there.
Well, I will say, I mean, one thing that has helped encourage the walk is you may be aware we are in the middle of a fitness challenge.
Yes,
So
that's true.
that has been a motivation to make sure I get my exercise in, outside of course, the health reasons. You know, I do need to, you know, there are a few health issues like high blood pressure, high cholesterol that I need to, you know, make sure I stay ahead of. And, you know, that's also why the exercise is important to me. So
Tina also put, I adore you too, Adam. So I think you threw that out and she's throwing it right back at you. So
I love her so much.
So what is one bit of inspiration you can share with entrepreneurs out there who are just starting, you know, maybe they've hit a brick wall? What is maybe a favorite quote you have, or I know you love music. What can you say to people out there to tell them to keep going?
I mean, that was going to be my piece of advice, was just to keep going, keep persevering. You know, we all hit those roadblocks, we all hit those brick walls, and it's very easy to stop. I mean, I have probably told myself I'm going to, you know, quit doing all of my interviews. I probably have told myself that a million times, but I never quit. I may scale back and I may, you know, like, you know, quite honestly, I'm not actively recording new podcast episodes. I have taken a break from that right now. And I am focusing my interviews on my website. Because also, you know, sometimes you think, oh, you feel as an entrepreneur, you need to be here, you need to be there, you need to be everywhere. And sometimes it's you're just stretched too thin to try to keep up with everything because, you know, and all the different social media platforms. I mean, I've kept myself to 3. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I mean, I am on LinkedIn, but I have not been very active on there. I just needed to sort of hone my focus a little bit. And that's why I've taken a break from podcasting. So I guess also just be aware of your limits as Kim would say, the entrepreneur that I work for, you know, you have to guard your melty. You have to understand, like, you know, how much energy you can really give, which is like what the melty is your energy, how much you can expend. And you have to be, you know, aware of that and make sure you take care of that.
I love that. So if people want to get a hold of you, Adam, and investigate this course and reach out to you about it, how can they do that?
The best way to reach me would be you can either email me at callmeadamnyc@gmail.com, or you can find me, send me a direct message on Instagram or Clubhouse. I'm on Clubhouse every morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Time. I'm in the My Sexy Business Club. I'm in Maureen's room every week. Business Results Done Simply. I am in, so find me on Clubhouse too. That would probably be the best way. You can send me a direct message on there. And as long as Clubhouse delivers the message, I will get it because
that can be a little iffy sometimes.
Yes.
So,
or you can always find me on my website at callmeadam.com. That's probably the simplest way.
Okay. I have loved this conversation. I have loved hearing your backstory. I think you're really very special and a true rock star on your entrepreneurial journey, and just keep going and keep going. I think that you've been just a great example of perseverance, flexibility, and really trying to hone in at being an amazing entrepreneur, one step at a time. So congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you, Maureen. And thank you so much for today. It has been wonderful talking to you. You are a fantastic interviewer. So I hope everybody watching continues to watch Maureen's series because it is fantastic. You do a great job. And, you are one of my inspirations. So I will continue to look to you for guidance and, seeing what else I can do to make my business better.
Oh, absolutely. I'm here for you.
Thank
So I
you.
hope you will come back again, especially in the new year, and give us an update as to how things are going and where that journey is taking you. I'm sure others will like to hear and follow up with you on that. So will you come back?
I would love to come back. And I should say, the Power of a Pitch Letter workshop I will be doing in October, October 13th. So you can message me about that as well.
Awesome. That is terrific. And so, all right. Well, Adam will be back, and so will we on Thursdays at 5 o'clock. Why are you an entrepreneur? If you are interested in being a guest, if you're a small business owner just starting, maybe in the mid part of building your business, or you've been doing it 40 years, we want to hear from you. And other small business owners especially want to hear your wisdom. So I'm Maureen Edwards, and if you need to get a hold of me, you can reach me at 8simplesteps.net, and I look forward to it. Good night, everybody, and see you next time. We're out.